Screencast. My name is Zan Ta, and I work for Repro Products in Smyrna, Georgia. I am an Autodesk certified instructor and hold many certifications in multiple Autodesk products for the AEC industry. I hope you enjoy my screencast. If you'd like to see more of my screencasts, please search for VAR 2015, that's VAR 2015, or my name. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up after you watch it. In today's screencast, we'll be taking a look at how to build families, the very basics of it. Here in the Recent Files window, I can click New to create a new family. I can specify a Revit family template file to work off of, so I'll pick generic model for now. The software creates a new family file for me called family1.rfa. It gives me two reference planes to work with, the insertion point being the intersection of the two. And you know this because when a reference plane has defined origins is checked in the instance property, where two of them cross is the insertion point. Let's say, for example, I want to use this tool to build something as simple as a table with 4 legs. We can go through the process of creating the extrusions, blends, sweeps, revolves, or any of the 3D form shape tools that we need to build this. What we want to make sure that we're doing when we're building our family is understanding the hierarchy of strength of what we're building and why we're building it. What I mean by this is that when we work with reference planes, they define, for example, the left or the right side of the table, the back or the front of the table, and also the height of the table as well. They may also define the thickness of the table and its relationship to the floor, to that reference level. When you're in an elevation view, by the way, make sure you move your level line away, because underneath you'll find another reference plane. You want to go ahead and name your reference planes properly. And the reason we give them names is so that it's easier for you to work with and easier for you to remember which reference plane you're working with, and it gives you a sense of bearing, if you will. Now, when we're working with the software and building families, you want to make sure you also take into consideration how this thing grows and adapts and changes. What I mean by this is that if the table that I'm building increases in width or depth, do we want it to grow equally or unequally from the insertion point? Most of the time, we want them to grow equally. So we want to make sure that we set these rules up properly so that they get built properly. And you'll also want to tell the software, give it some intelligence, add parameters to it. So we'll say this is going to be the length. We'll set this one to be the depth, or width. Some people say width or depth. We'll go to the front elevation. We'll put in a dimension for the top, for height, and that'll be fine. We also want to give a definition for the thickness and whether we want that to be locked or not. So let's just do a simple 3-inch desk. That should be fine. When you're working as well with creating reference planes, make sure that they are crossing each other properly so you have snap points to work with. Now that I have defined the overall skeleton frame, I can start building my family properly. So again, let's make sure that these intersections, they actually intersect properly. We'll go to the Create tab of the ribbon, and we're going to use the Exclusion command in the Forms tab, in Forms palette. We'll build our rectangle. associate and align and lock the faces of those. set the reference plane properly to what we want, set the thickness to what we want, head over to the front elevation view, finish it, and now you can see how it's built. We can go ahead and we can pull and push these faces, line and lock them if we have to the correct reference planes. Now if we take a look at this in 3D, it's nothing more than a 3D tabletop. If I go back, I want to go ahead and make my legs, so go ahead over here, and because we're working with legs and we want to make sure it's, you know, drawn properly, we'll create some reference planes to define the exact placement of those legs in relationship to the tables. And we want to dimension from reference plane to dimension to reference plane, not to the face of the object, because the strength and hierarchy of how Revit functions and works is easier and more stable if you're dimensioning from reference plane to reference plane. And let's do 6 inches is fine. So we'll head over to this one, we'll make this one 6 inches. And we'll lock that as well. 6 inches. And lock this as well. And then lastly here. Now that that's set, we can use the extrusion command to build our legs. Let's do this at 4 inches. Oh, that's a pretty big leg. Let's do 2 inch. And finish it, and go look at it in the front elevation. And that's fine. We can always pull them down, remember, and align and lock it to the correct face that we need. See? Now that you've done that, you have yourself a little table. Now remember, always test your family. So, flex it. Make the necessary adjustments. Let's make this 6, let's make this 4, and let's make it 9. Does it adjust? Yes, it does. That means the family is built properly. Okay? And there you go, a very, very quick tutorial on the Revit family, how to build a Revit family. Thank you for watching my screencast, and again, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up.